draft here. I just thought, hey, let's walk through the cornerback room pre-draft and see what we've got here. So as we take a deep dive on it here on April 7th is when I wrote the article a couple of days ago. I'm sorry, Bucket Skoldenberg did. The Packers have assembled a mix of established talent, emerging young players, and untested depth at the cornerback position, which has been a focal point after a 2024 season where their pass defense ranked 11th in the NFL, allowing 6.4 yards per pass attempt. I repeat, we had the 11th best passing defense in terms of yards per pass attempt, and I feel like that's the most important metric to measure how good a passing defense is, in my opinion. With new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley's aggressive scheme emphasizing cover 2 zone variations with simulated pressures, the cornerbacks face ups and downs but showed promise. Here's a breakdown of the key players, their roles, strengths, challenges, and the overall state of the room based on the latest information, including their 2024 PFF grades. So we got them ranked in the order of PFF grades here. Number 1 on the list is Jair Alexander, 75.2. His role, number 1 quarterback lockdown defender on the outside. His 2024 performance, if he returns to Green Bay, Alexander remains the cornerstone of the Packers secondary, sometimes tasked with the shadowing top receivers. In 2024, he logged 10 starts, 3 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups, though injuries limited him to under 70% of the defensive snaps. His PFF grade reflects his elite play when healthy. His strengths, exceptional agility, ball skills, and confidence in man coverage. He's a 2-time All-Pro in 2018 and 2022 and consistently disrupts passing games. Challenges, durability remains a concern. Hamstring and knee issues sideline him for chunks of 23 and 24. His fiery personality also led to a 1-game suspension in 23, though he's been a leader since. Contract status, signed through 2026 on a 4-year, $84 million extension with a potential out in 2026 with trade rumors swirling all off-season, boys.
Took it down the sideline, turned over my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
So what do we obviously Jair was hands down the best corner in the room. There's no denying that, right? Anything you guys want to add to that? Maybe something I missed. Again, 75.2 is even a little low for Ja, but still the best corner in the room last year.
Still the best corner in the room, still on this team if nothing happens.
Still working out in the offseason with Xavier McKinney, you know?
Yeah. And also reaching out to Nate Hobbs and saying, hey, man, welcome to the squad type thing.
Yep. Sounds like a team player to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he might be back. I don't know, man. We may pop up on draft night and he get traded. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm tired of putting percentages on it because I keep going back and forth, man. I can't figure it out. So 2-0 for this says I really don't want Jair to go anywhere. I think a lot of fans feel that way, man. I really do. Especially when they realize we're not going to get 2 first-round picks for him.
Right.
No, bub. Sorry. It's amazing how we think someone is trash, but we think the rest of the league is going to give up multiple, top picks. But anyway, Carrington Ballantyne, this is the guy that I'm excited about. PFF grade 65.5, role outside cornerback, number 2 or rotational starter, 2024 performance. Ballantyne, a 7th-round pick, stepped up in his second year, playing 14 games with 6 starts, recorded 34 tackles, 1 interception, and 5 pass breakups. I thought he had 2 picks. That may be an error right there. Might have just been 1. Showing growth as a boundary defender. Strengths, his length, 6 foot, 189, and competitiveness in press coverage. He's a willing tackler and has flashed upside in limited snaps. Challenges, inconsistent technique, and a tendency to get grabby led to 4 penalties in 2024. His PFF grade suggests he's still developing into a reliable starter. Contract status, he's under a rookie deal through 2026. Guys, when I look at this whole cornerback room, and that's what we're going to end this whole show with, is like, how do we feel about the entire cornerback room? If Ja isn't on this team, I'm not panicking. I'm not. Yeah. Ja missed a large majority of the season last year. What did they say, over 70% of the snaps? And we still finished 11th in pass defense in terms of yards per pass attempt. Like, what do we even, you know what I mean? It just, to me, it proves the Nate Hobbs signing, and we'll get to him here in a second. If anything, you don't have to go out and do anything desperate in the draft. You don't. But I will say this, even if Jair is back, if Jahdae Barron is the best on the board when we pick at 23, him and Jair on the same field, along with a newly added Nate Hobbs and a Carrington Ballantyne who's starting to get better, I feel really good about where we're at. But what do y'all think about Carrington here?
Good pickup. I'm glad they pulled the trigger on him. We just talked about Josh Marshall or Jason Marshall there. If it's something like that where you're going to take a flyer on him, we tried it with King. We'll see how that pans out. You get him. It's like you get him, you pick him in that round. All right, nothing happened this past year. Tough to get him on the field. All right, let's see how he does. Man, this year he tore it up for us, or he really did. Make a name for yourself, someone with a chip on their shoulder. I think that's another nice thing you get. If you have a real dog that you find back in those late rounds, they come out there with a chip on their shoulder, not being drafted. No one thinks of that, who they are. Hey, I was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, but you're getting no love coming out of college. So, make a name for yourself now.
Yep. And those Kentucky Wildcat guys are no stranger to that situation, right? We've seen it before. I think when you look at like the challenges here, inconsistent with the technique, tendency to get a little grabby, we've seen that. And I think that's something he'll clean up as he continues to develop. He's under contract through next year. I can't wait to see how he comes out this season.
Yeah, I think another year under his belt, Carrington, having under Jeff Hafley's tutelage. And we keep forgetting about the passing game coordinator, too, the secondary coach. I keep forgetting his name. We talked about him. Ansley, right?
Yeah, D.A.
Derek Ansley is like a dog, dude. Like, I mean, having Carrington Valentine try to learn under him, light that fire, I'm really excited to see what he does for sure. So, like what Monster says here in the chat, Jair and Barron and Nixon and CV and Hobbs are elite. That would just be a hell of a cornerback room, man. It really would.
Yep.
Really, really would. All right, up next on the list, Keyshawn Nixon, PFF grade 64.0. His role, slot cornerback, obviously kicked to the outside, actually played better outside last year, in my opinion. And special teams ace 2024 performance. Nixon played 65% of the defensive snaps, mostly in the slot, with 42 tackles, 1 interception, and 6 pass breakups. His real value came as a returner, earning first-team All-Pro honors in 22 and 23, though his 24 return stats dip slightly. His strength, speed, and tenacity, and run support. His versatility keeps him on the field. Challenges, struggles in coverage against quick slot receivers, reflecting in his middling PFF grade. He's more of a hustle player than a shutdown defender. His contract status signed a 3-year, $18 million deal in 2024, locked in through 2026. Now, I feel like he's more of an outside corner than a slot. If it ends up being Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Nate Hobbs, let's say Ja's gone and we don't get the cornerback we want in the first round, I would like to see, me personally, Nate Hobbs in the slot, Keyshawn on the outside, and Carrington on the outside. I think that Keyshawn plays better on the outside. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But.
I didn't feel that way until last season.
Right.
He certainly surprised a lot of us with his ability to play on the boundary. And then, of course, having Bullard being able to step down there into the slot, certainly helped allow us to do that, even with Ja being, off the field. So I agree, though. Keyshawn is definitely better on the boundary, which is it's crazy to be saying that because, we spent so much time in 22 kind of evaluating him in the slot as a defender and, seeing him make that transition and actually hold his own. It's a good sign.
Yeah, I think that if you get a guy that's getting cooked in a two-way in the slot, that's tough, right? And you paid him the money to return. You want to see if it'll work. Him playing outside wasn't bad. He got us through the season. We didn't have Ja. We got to be thankful that Nixon was there, else it'd be even worse. But we want more out of him. At least I want asking more out of Nixon. I think he wants more. And that kind of drive, I think, could bring him, maybe into the 70s, something like that. Battle. We're going to have if we're bringing in another corner, Ja, we got Nate Hobbs in there. I think we're really going to have a nice battle. A lot of iron sharpens iron in the off season. Try to get better with competition.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says Nixon reminds me of Mike McCoy, a smaller guy that gets the most out of his ability and is an okay piece, but teams can put him in bad spots if they really need to get something. So there you go. Kind of mixed reviews there in the chat. Like Joseph says, he agrees on Nixon. Chuck Goodman says, not a Nixon fan. Sorry, no need to apologize, brother. It's all good, man. See a lot of people mentioning Kalen King already. We're going to get to him here in a second, which I think there's a chance we got something there too. If they would just give him a damn opportunity. Like that drove me crazy last year. We kept putting Eric Stokes out there. I'm like, I would rather see Kalen King on the field and just see what we got there than watching because Stokes just looked so uncomfortable, man. So
to Kalen King point, Tremont Miller. Kalen King was a first grade DB as a junior. Yeah,
Yep.
man, like you said, you got to be patient because you never know.
Yeah. All right, Nate Hobbs, the free agent acquisition here this offseason. PFF grade 61.4, rotational slot / outside cornerback. 2024 performance acquired from the Raiders in the 2024 trade. Hobbs brought experience with 42 tackles and 4 pass breakups in 13 games for Green Bay. They're drunk here, boy. Lord have mercy. He split time between the slot and outside, playing 55% of the snaps. Obviously, he was signed out of free agency, guys. Strengths, physicality, and instincts. He's a solid tackler. You see that all over the tape when you watch him. And me and Tim got in here watching some of his clips one night, and it's like, this dude is aggressive. He is the epitome of attacking the football. I really like it. 86% completion rate in 2024 and reads routes well in zone. Challenges lacks top end speed and gets exposed in man coverage against faster receivers, contributing to his lower PFF grade. Contract status inked a 4-year, $48 million contract with Green Bay last month. So, when you look at his rookie tape, if you guys want to see his ceiling, go watch his rookie tape. Was he not, Tim? Like that whole highlight reel?
That was incredible. I was fired up, man, just watching that. Super excited about having him here, and he's going to fit in perfectly in Hafley's defense because that's what Hafley's all about: being aggressive, playing the ball. Yeah,
and then it's like when you look at why did it click so much his rookie year? Rich Bisaccia was there, right? And then once Rich Bisaccia was gone, it seemed to kind of spiral out of control. So hopefully we can get the best out of him with Rich being on staff. What do you think, Amelia? I mean, it's not the sexiest free agent signing for sure. And again, like we always say, a 4-year deal is really a 3-year deal. In this case, it kind of feels more like a 2-year deal than even a 3-year deal because of the guaranteed money that's involved. So you give him a 2-year run there, and then you got rights to him 2 more years. It essentially turns into a club option after year 2. With some cap penalty obviously attached, but you can get out from under it pretty easy, man. I feel like it's, hey, let's take a swing here to kind of raise the floor in the cornerback room, just like we did with the wide receiver room and signing Mecole Hardman in case you don't get that wide receiver that you want in the draft, like an Egbuka or someone that maybe Goody's on. So I like it. It's a safe pickup, and you kind of stabilize that room a touch in case Ja's not going to be here. But what do you think?
Absolutely. And I think that, if you're looking at the room, do you want to go right back into next year with the exact same thing, just a couple of rookies coming in? So how are you going to have someone unseat a veteran if the rookie's not that, top 10 talent? How it's going to be tough for him to go ahead and get in there, get reps in practice, get enough time in front of the coaches to see him, make plays. Even with Evan Williams and Bullard, I mean, they you got a little bit of time, but it took how long for them to even get on the field? If you bring in a veteran, you can kind of push that room a little bit more, kind of get the best out of everyone a little bit sooner, and then move on from there. And when that trade happened, I just went through some of the comments in that post. Man, it seemed like every Raider fan was upset that they let him go. Like, how are we going to do this to our defense? We've got nobody left. Like, he was holding the secondary together. So it really is how you look at it. I mean, if we're looking at it from the outside or the inside, that you get a completely different perspective.
Yeah, and it reminded me too, seeing those same comments, Amelia. It reminded me of when we lost Coach Campanelli, right, our linebacker coach. All Packer fans jumped into the comments and like, "Y'all just got a damn dog. Y'all got a dog of a coach." Hated to see him go, man. He probably would have been my top choice to protect, other than Jeff Hafley. Maybe Ansley over top of him, and it's obvious that who was it? The Jaguars that went and got him. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, it was a promotion, right? So we couldn't block the promotion.
Right.
So,
DC,
congrats. Yeah, totally deserves it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Let's go to the chat real quick, see what everybody's saying. This was earlier. 2-0 for this says, I feel like all these players are measured with Ryobi tape measures, which is why there's a lot of error. Milwaukee tape measures would be extremely accurate. There you go. Sponsor the show, Milwaukee.
Please, we're close.
Holmes MD1 says he reminds me of Antoine Winfield quite a bit. Hey, that's a hell of a comp there. If that's the case, sign me up. H.E. Solder, physicality is the thing I like about Hobbs. Same thing we've seen on the tape. Fred McFarley has a new chess piece, and Hobbs versatile and aggressive. And again, man, that's something you can tone down aggressive, but you can't put that in a player. You can't say, hey, man, I need you to go out there and play more aggressive. You either got it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of feels like when you do try to tone down a player's aggressivity, as Brady Papinga would say, you end up in a situation like Quay Walker. Right, his rookie year, he was just turning it loose. He was a dog, and you get get ejection from the game, and now it seems like he's kind of trying to tone that back. You just got to go out there and turn it loose. I don't think Hobbs will have any issue with that.
Yeah. I feel for Kalen King this year, because we were talking about Stokes stealing all his snaps, and then, we part ways with Stokes, who, funny enough, goes to the Raiders, which is hilarious. And then we, just when Kalen King's probably thinking like, man, I'm gonna get that shot this year, man, really gonna get some extra reps, and we bring in a dog like Nate Hobbs to the squad. So I think it's going to bode well for the Packers either way, though. But I really hope King sees some of the field this year.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says, feels like they will mix and match at cornerback in 2025. I agree with that, too. Yep. A lot of guys with slot versatility. One of those guys is Javon Bullard. Now, he didn't grade out well last year, 54.2, hybrid safety / cornerback, primarily a slot defender. In 2024, the 2024 second-round pick, number 58 overall, transitioned from safety to a nickel role, playing 12 games with 38 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. Strengths, versatility, and football IQ. He's comfortable in the box or covering tight ends and slot receivers. Challenge is still adjusting to the slot role with occasional lapses in coverage against their shiftier targets. His size, 5'10", 198, can be a mismatch outside. Contract status on his rookie deal through 2027. I want to say this about Javon Bullard. Much like Keyshawn Nixon going outside, he looked better there. Javon Bullard looked way better in the slot than he did at safety, in my opinion. So what you've got is Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Javon Bullard, who have experience in the slot. So that really raises that floor in the slot room, in my opinion. That way, all right, you can mix and match guys outside, like Solder was saying, and you're in a good spot there in terms of slot defender. If you somehow have Jahdae Barron fall to you at 23 and you go that route in the first round, guess what? You got another guy who can play in the slot as well. And it doesn't mean that's where they're going to primarily be. It's just it's nice having that. If you get an injury, these guys can – it's not going to be foreign to them, So I think it's really, really, really cool. So do you guys agree with that? Do you feel like he played better in the slot than at safety?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's – why we kind of saw Evan Williams kind of solidify his role back there. He was given an opportunity and he took it and ran with it. And you saw what happened when he was banged up and we had to stick Bullard back there. You could see the clear disconnect, in the secondary. So I would agree, because when we watch him play in the slot, he's an absolute monster, and still a little rough, still a little raw. But I think Javon Bullard is going to continue to develop really nicely. But I agree. I like him way, way more as a slot corner.
Yeah, I would agree. I like him in the slot, though. I'm going to stand up for Bullard and having to switch midway through the week to go to safety a couple of times this year. And I mean, that's a lot on a rookie for learning 2 roles, 2 sets of coverages, 2 sets of calls. So I mean, he can do it right. Came from Georgia, big program, able to handle it. But the numbers and the grades might not show it, just because he was asked to do a lot as a rookie, and he still came through and was on the field that whole time, even when they're asking him to do all that. So I'm excited to see where he goes this next year for sure.
Yeah. Daryl in the chat says, man, Kalen King barely played 2024 season. Kind of thought he'd or at least let him grow into it. Yeah, and it kind of found yourself once Bullard kicked to the slot, it's like, Kalen King ain't ever going to see the field. This sucks, So maybe he will this year. And that's who we got up next. Obviously, there's no PFF grade. There's not enough snaps. 7th-round pick from Penn State. King spent most of his rookie year on the practice squad or as a healthy scratch, seeing minimal defensive snaps. His strengths, college tape showed good ball skills. He had 18 pass breakups in 2022 at Penn State. Has a 4.47 40-yard dash to suggest potential. His challenges, raw technique, and lack of NFL experience make him a project. No PFF grade due to limited action. His contract status, he's under contract through 2027 is what it says here, which I want to say that rookie year voided. I could be wrong when they kicked him to the practice squad, but he's definitely under contract for 2 years the way that works, I'm pretty sure. Right. So Kamal Haddon, PFF grade not available there as well. Again, we're just kind of rounding this room out, and then we'll wrap up. Another 2024 late-round pick, 6th-round pick. So he was drafted in the 6th round by the Chiefs, then cut, if I remember correctly. We picked him
out of Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. Hadden played sparingly, mostly on special teams. He logged under 50 defensive snaps. His size says he's 6'1", 195. I didn't realize he had that kind of size. And physicality could fit Hafley's scheme long-term. Challenges, inconsistent college production, and a steep learning curve have kept him off the field. No PFF grade available. He's under contract through 2027 is what it says, rookie deal, which that should be reset too. So it's 2025. That makes sense. Should be a 2-year kind of, you got rights to him for 2 to 3 years, if I remember correctly. So, and then of course you got Isaiah Dunn. I don't think anybody knows who he is.
Who?
Dunn, a journeyman signed in 2024. His strengths, a 4.41 40-yard dash and hustle makes him a roster bubble mainstay. Challenges, limited impact as a defender. He's yet to prove he can handle consistent coverage duties. No PFF grade due to limited role. Contract status, he is facing free agency in 2026. So overall state of the room, it says the Packers cornerback group is anchored by Jair Alexander, whose elite play elevates the unit when he's on the field. Depth is a plus with Valentine, Nixon, Hobbs, and Bullard, offering a mix of experience and youth. Hafley's scheme thrives on versatility, and players like Bullard and Nixon provide flexibility across the secondary. The group's tackling improved in 2024 with the missed tackle rate dropping to 9.8%. The league average is actually 10.5%. Challenges, injuries, and inconsistency plague the room. Alexander's health woes, Valentine's penalties, and Nixon's coverage struggles mean there are no reliable cornerback two to complement Jair. The lack of PFF grades for King, Hadden, and Dunn highlights how untested the back end is. Depth could falter if starters go down. Against top passing attacks, Detroit, Philadelphia, the secondary was exposed in 2024, allowing 8+ yards per attempt in those 3 losses there. So future outlook with Alexander locked in and Bullard and Valentine, King and Hadden under contract through at least 2026. The core is set. However, Hobbs hits free agency in 2026. That is not true. So disregard that. And Nixon's deal expires after 2026. So decisions loom. The Packers could target a day 2 corner in the 2025 draft. Can somebody say Trey Amos? Someone like Michigan's Will Johnson, if he falls, boy, that would be awesome if he fell somehow to the second round, wouldn't it? Or Notre Dame's Benjamin Morrison fits their mode of long, athletic press corners. For now, this unit relies heavily on Alexander staying healthy and Valentine or Bullard stepping up. Texas's Jahdae Barron would be a dream if he were to fall to pick 23. They've been listening to us, boys. They've been listening to us. So, final thoughts. It's just pretty much going to repeat the same thing there, I'm pretty sure. So when you look at the overall cornerback room, how many spots do you think we have open, guys? Let's really look at this. Pretend Jai is on the roster right now, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If Jair is on this roster, you've got 5 corners locked into a 53-man roster spot, right? So if Jai's not here, you got room for 1 more. Are you going to carry 6? I can't remember what we broke camp with last year, but if you carry 5, you're pretty much set if Josh stays, right? Yeah. And I think that was the whole point of the Nate Hobbs signing is like, hey, we don't have to freak out, right? Yeah. So, final thoughts here on the cornerback room, gents?
No, I would agree with that assessment. I think Jair is the spot, right? If he's gone, there's a spot. If he's not and he's healthy and he's going to be available, then I think you're right. We probably got our 5, unless they do, break camp with 6 or something, but it's tough to see, but with Hobbs coming in, I agree with that statement. That was, I don't want to use the word contingency plan, but let's be real. It was basically a contingency plan. You go out and you get a solid guy in free agency that's going to help your football team with or without Jair Alexander. So whatever happens, however the cookie crumbles, we're ready to go. Like you said, we don't have to panic.
Right. And how often are you pulling in a 5th, 6th, 7th round corner and they're starting? I mean, how often are you? So that's something you got to kind of take into effect. Hey, let's take a veteran that's been there, been with one of our coaches already, and can play inside out versatility. I think all the signs just pointed to we have to get this guy in here just to give us something.
Yep.
There you go. There's your cornerback room. Again, we also highlighted Jason Marshall just to give everybody an idea. That could be a late round pick, right? One of those dudes, or maybe an undrafted free agent if he falls that far. Who knows, though? Jahdae Barron, was he a top 30 visit too, Emilio? Am I thinking right? He was not. What are the top 30 visits looking like in the cornerback room? Savone Revel, right? That's it?
Yes.
And Jason Marshall now. So,
yes.
So you got
one early, one super late.
Yep. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Badger Trio with the super chat says, just drove past the stage. The roof is up. It is glorious. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about this draft.
Going quick, man. It's coming together. There was no roof yesterday.